moving down to something smaller and less trucky, we're in the 2017 Ridgeline right now. And unlike other vehicles in this year's test, this one is a unibody structure, which means there's no traditional frame.
Yeah, and you know, Craig, because of that, some people like to argue that the Ridgeline isn't even a real truck. But last time I checked, there's a bed and a hitch back there, so it makes a truck in my book.
Yeah, it's essentially a modified minivan, but I'll
Pretty
tell you
much.
what, the Ridgeline here will probably do 75% of what 75% of drivers actually need in a truck.
Yeah, for sure. Trucks these days are just getting so big, and people buy them, and they're just totally overkill for what they're doing with them. It just doesn't really make that much sense. Now here in the Ridgeline, we have a 3.5 liter V6 under the hood that's making 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah.
Now in our truck here, we have the optional all-wheel drive, but if you do opt for a base Ridgeline, the power is only going to be sent to the front wheels.
With a 6-speed automatic transmission on board, this Ridgeline is actually quite fuel efficient. Even with the optional all-wheel drive system, you should expect 18 miles per gallon in the city and 25 on the highway, which is as good as a sedan these days, really.
For sure, but you can also expect, just like a sedan, the Ridgeline isn't exactly the best tow vehicle. Now, we had the chance to put about just 2,000 pounds on this truck, and even then this V6 already started to feel kind of gassed out, kind of like it was already being pushed hard. So, although this truck is rated for 5,000 pounds, I probably wouldn't load it past 3,000 if you wanted to stay confident. And one other thing I have to gripe about with the towing is that there's only a 7-pin connector on this truck, and the old Ridgeline used to have a 4-pin connector, and most small trailers you're pulling only have 4 pins. That was a poor choice, Honda.
Strange decision, really.
Totally.
You know, not surprisingly, off-roading is another sore spot with this vehicle, despite the fact that it has an adjustable terrain system that sort of tailors the vehicle performance based on the surface you're driving on. Despite having that, it's really for light-duty use only. There's less than 8 inches of ground clearance, there's limited suspension travel, and really it'll get you to the trailhead, but don't expect it to do more than that.
Yeah, it's not built for the hardcore stuff. Probably best for getting your dirt bikes to the trail.
Yeah.
So certainly the Ridgeline isn't the best tow vehicle or the best off-roader, but let me tell you what it does do best. On-road, empty driving dynamics. No other mid-sized truck can touch this Ridgeline when it comes to just comfort and control, and when you're hustling it, you could even call it fun to drive. Really, it just feels like a Honda Accord with a bed out back, and let me tell you that there is nothing wrong with that.